I need to be honest with you about something. I didn't quit my job because I was brave. I quit because I was furious. And that is the worst reason to make one of the biggest decisions of your career. Stay tuned because in this video, I'll be walking you through how to actually quit your job and take the leap. I remember exactly who I was at that job. I was irritated, angry, and unfortunately pretty calloused. I was the worst version of myself. I dreaded going in, and I couldn't stand the work. It was excruciatingly boring. There were unrealistic expectations, hard hours. Not a single thing I put into that job was ever acknowledged or appreciated. So here's how I actually left my job. I'd been floating around the idea of actually quitting for probably 6 months to a year, telling myself I'd plan it out, I'd wait for the right time, and leave the right way. And then one day, I was called into a meeting where I was ambushed and blamed for things that were inaccurate and untrue. And no joke, I was literally told in that meeting, to my face, mind you, that I was a failure and I would fail at anything I did in the future. That very day, I quit. I called my wife to tell her I had had enough and I was joining the business full time. I basically said, screw you, walked out the door with a grudge, burned every bridge I had, and had literally no plan. And let me tell you, the feeling of constant anxiety of having to go to a job that you hated, leaving it felt like absolute freedom for about 2 weeks. And then it felt like terror. Maybe you're where I was, counting the minutes of every day, feeling the life drain out of you the second you walk through the door. Or maybe you're not there. Maybe your job is fine. It pays the bills. Maybe it's just not the thing you want to build your life around. And that's fine. Either way though, the question's the same. How do you actually make the jump without making it from a place that you'll regret? And before we go any further, if you haven't done the math on your real number, go watch video number 2. If you don't have clients already booking you, go watch video number 3. And if you don't have basic systems in place for your business, go watch my last video, video number 4 in the series. This video is for the person who's done all of that and is still sitting there, staring at the edge, afraid to jump, still waiting for something to feel certain before they do it, before they actually quit. That person is who this video is for. And here's why you're still sitting there. Your brain is telling you 2 things that aren't true. Lie number 1, I need one more thing before I'm ready. And it could be anything. One more client, one more month of savings, one more busy season under your belt, one more sign that the timing is right. And the truth is, the timing is never going to feel right because the fear doesn't retire when you hit your number. It just moves the goalpost. You cross a line and it draws another one 6 feet farther. And you keep waiting for a feeling of readiness that was never going to arrive. Because readiness isn't a feeling, it's a checklist. And you've already completed the checklist. If you know your number and you've got the clients and you've got the systems, it's not like you're unready, you're just afraid. And those are not the same thing. Line number 2, I'll feel confident once I jump. Well, no, you won't. At least not right away. Quitting a job isn't just leaving a paycheck. It's leaving a whole version of yourself that shows up somewhere Monday through Friday, that has a title, and that knows what Thursday's gonna look like. When you walk away from that, you don't instantly feel like a full-time creative. You just feel like a guy who quit his job. And that identity gap between who you were and who you're becoming, that's the hardest part. But the gap doesn't close by waiting. It closes by living in the new thing long enough that it becomes real. So, you're ready. You've done the work. Here's what actually quitting looks like. First off, give proper notice. Be professional about it. Don't burn the bridge. Honestly, you never know who's going to end up a client or a referral source or a connection you might need like 5 years from now. Just keep it simple. Something like, I'm pursuing my business full time. I'm grateful for the time here. I want to make this transition as smooth as possible. That's it. You don't owe them a speech. You don't owe them a confession. You owe them professionalism, the same kind you're about to build your entire business on. And if you're wondering what I did, I already told you. I walked out pissed off. That's a cautionary tale. Don't do what I did. Because honestly, I regret it. As angry as I was, and rightfully so I might add, I wish I could have cut ties with that company more professionally, even if they didn't treat me right. Real quick, if this series has been useful or helpful, subscribe. I'm building this channel for people exactly like you, and there's a lot more coming. Okay, back to it. Now, I want to slow down here because this is the part that matters. Change is hard, even good change. Leaving something stable and predictable or something uncertain and entirely yours, that is genuinely scary. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But I want to be honest with you about something. I haven't regretted it. Not once. Not even on the hard days. And there have been a lot of hard days. Days where the phone didn't ring. Days where a client was being difficult. Days where I wondered if I had made a terrible mistake. But the hard days here are different than the hard days there because these hard days, they're mine. I own them. And that makes them survivable in a way the other ones never were. I can affect change a whole lot easier on this side than I ever could at my 9 to 5. If I'm frustrated, I can just go on a walk with my dog or take a lunch break with the family and watch a show. At my 9 to 5, if I didn't like who I was sitting next to or was frustrated, I had to suck it up. I really don't miss the cubicle. I don't miss the cold calls. I don't miss working under someone else's schedule, someone else's rules, someone else's pay ceiling. I set my own schedule now. I choose my clients. I show up to work doing something I actually love, and the income doesn't have a cap anymore. The hours don't belong to someone else, and the work I put in, it actually builds something that's mine, something that I can be proud of. A sense of true meaning and purpose, it can't be understated. Is it harder sometimes? Yeah. Lonelier sometimes? Sure. I mean, you don't get the built-in community of a workplace, but the version of me that stayed in that cubicle, I don't want to know where he ended up. I don't want to meet him because I know what that job was doing to me, and I know what staying would have cost me. So, here's what I want to leave you with. If you've done the work, you know your number, you've got the clients, you've got the systems, the only thing left is the decision. If you know you're in the right place to make the move, give your notice this week, not next month, not after one more wedding, not when it feels right. This week. The timing will never feel perfect. The fear won't disappear on its own. And the life you want, it's not going to build itself while you wait for permission. Nobody's coming to hand you that moment. You're the only person who can go get it. This is the last video in the full-time roadmap. If you've made it this far, genuinely, I'm so thankful and I'm glad you're here. I started this channel because I want to help creatives like you build something real and something they're proud of. Not because I have all the answers, but because I've walked some of this road and I know how much it helps to have someone a few steps ahead of you pointing back saying, it's worth it, keep going. and it is. So don't stop chasing your dreams. Do the hard thing. If you're positioned well, put in your notice this week. And I'll see you on the other side.